everybody, this is Maniac4Toys and Scooby. And it's just NERF or not enough. Another NERF haul, another lot that I've found through Facebook Marketplace at a really good deal this time around. So this one, I've only had my eyes on one or two blasters in here, and then one of those blasters happened to have 2 copies of it in here, so I thought, what they're asking for, it's a pretty good value. We'll get into that in just a little bit. First, I'm just going to show what's here. I'm not going to demonstrate any of it. It'll go into some future videos because I already know some I really want to record with these. Starting things off, we have the NERF Rebel Codebreaker. I had to look this one up, figure it out. So my initial reaction to this thing, I don't have it here for this video. It'll actually be in the review for this of how I came to learn what this was. But it's an interesting blaster, and it's something that if I didn't want to use it in its base form, I'll still have to see how it performs. But if it's not something I could use in its base form, I do have 1 or 2 other ideas for this. It reminds me of a Guardian crossbow, so I might go some way with that. The next thing, there's 2 copies in here of the NERF Crossbolt, and I didn't even notice that beforehand. It actually does take clips. This is another crossbow type blaster, but it actually has a clip magazine kind of feed in the back of it. So you feed in like that in order to blast off each of the darts. That's something. I did not expect that. Oh, one's got stuck in here. Go figure. One is like tightly packed into the corner. I don't know if it was from the clip itself or if it was just stuck in the blaster. But yeah, that's no good. So there's that. But I got 2 copies of that. So maybe one is better than the other. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But that'll be interesting to try out. This one, I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, because I know I've seen it on someone else's channel. I've looked it up before. And I forget the name off the top of my head, so I'm just going to go right here and look it up. It's a spy something. I think it's a Spylight. I want to say it's Spylight. Nope. There we go. Yep, so this is a NERF Rebel Spylight. It doesn't have the accessory on top of it. And currently, I am not sure if it's buried in here, but I'll take a look. Anyways, it's basically the same thing as a strong arm, but in Rebel form. A little smoother, a little interesting for the grip and the design for the front of it. Reminds me of a hammer shot, the way the front is designed. So this might be nifty. And not too long ago did I actually draw this as a part of somebody's giveaway on Instagram. I tried to draw this blaster. I didn't have any colored pencils on me at the time, so I just kind of got the basic shape of it without all the colors and printing and things like that. But so far, sounds pretty good or about to break. I don't know which, but that is interesting nonetheless. We've got a NERF Retaliator. I think this is my 4th Retaliator at this point, and it's got a clip stuck in it with a dart stuck in it. So I'll take both of those out. Standard Retaliator. Doesn't seem like anything too out of the ordinary. Although I think at this point I might even have like one in every different color. Like different stripes and color schemes on it. It also has a name on here, Cherry. So, hello Cherry. I don't know if this is going to be any better than other ones, but I'll do some testing around and figure that out. Because I've done testing with the others to see how they are. This drum is pretty neat. I believe it's a 25? Maybe 30? Round drum? It should say it somewhere on here. Usually it says it. Ah, okay. On the side of it, it says 30. Neat. Very, very neat. We've got the Retaliator barrel, which is in a cool color. I do like this. And is useful for other NERF modding things, but I'll get into that eventually. We'll take out the clips for now. These are a bunch of 12 and 10 dart clips. Any of the ones you see white tipped on the bottom are 10, and it kind of has a banana mag sort of feel to it because they're able to curve. Therefore, you kind of load the darts pretty much the same way, but you know the way the springs will work in here is slightly different. I don't know what the deal with banana mags is, but everybody craves over them, so I'm like, alright, I guess I'll try that out. a very funky flintlock-looking crossbow hybrid. This is from the NERF Rebel line. It has a top prime to it, which is interesting. It loads 5, maybe 6 darts. A very interesting design. I do not know the name of this one off the top of my head, but I know it's from the, like, Elves Enchanted. I don't know what the name of it, the line is, but it's more magical. It's kind of a short spin-off of Rebel that they did, where they had a lot more elegance to their blasters. There's a little difference of color schemes between them. And by design, it's actually kind of cool, but I'm curious how it's going to function, especially... There's a lot of crossbows, a lot of bow-related stuff in this haul video. We've got ourselves a Doomlands blaster. This by itself is $30. Keep that in mind, and it includes one of those banana mags. This is basically a strife. It's called the Desolator, and it's not really that customizable, but I've heard a lot of good things. Like, you know, it's basically a strife, so usually strifes are really good. So I'll have to add some batteries into this and try it out, but I like the design on it. Really neat how it all comes together, even though it does have a built-on stock. So, we got that. We've got, in here, 2 strong arms of the same variety. These are basically the successor to the Maverick. And I think I don't even have ones in white and blue like that. I just have, like, blue as a solid... main color of it, so that could be neat. We've got a Dark Zone something or other, Blitzfire it says here. And I guess it was already primed, because that's why it's sticking out like that. And it's basically a 6-round blaster, kind of pistol-like, very thin, very low profile. So that might be interesting to try out. I don't even know how many Dark Zone ones I've used in the past, but always good to experiment with more. And we will talk about these bulky ones in just a bit. Don't worry. Those are important. We've got another Doomlands blaster in here. This is another of the Desolator. Again, keep in mind, this is $30 in the retail price. I don't know if it's available everywhere. I know I usually see them at Target, and sometimes Target Doomland stuff is exclusive at Target, but this is neat. I think it is available elsewhere, though. I'll put that one over here. We've got a Zero X Shot. This is basically the same thing as the Flip Fury from NERF, but kind of sleeker, kind of more wieldy. I know that the one that they have for NERF is a little bit bulkier and kind of hard to use, but this one does the job similarly. Maybe I'll do a comparison video between the two. This one contains 6 rounds for 2 barrels, which you can swap by pressing the lower trigger. And that's something that you might actually have to spin because it doesn't seem to give you that motion on its own. It just kind of hangs them loosely. So, something like that. I'm not sure. I'll have to play around with that. But interesting nonetheless. Our third hammer shot, which is a classic. Unfortunately, already primed, but always a good one to have around. And may or may not modify one of them to hold megas. That'll be fun. And now for the 2 big boys that are left in here. And a dog bone. I accidentally found a dog bone in there. So, I don't think they're going to miss it. So, there's 2 big blasters in here. They're both the same. And they're called the NERF Infinites. This is heavy. This is heavier than most of the other blasters in here. And while I'm not going to do a full-on review here, I do want to tell you that it has an interesting gimmick and was one of the main reasons why I went into this haul, into this particular NERF lot, and made it a really good value. Even one of these, included in here with everything else, made it a good value. One of these costs $40 retail. It includes one of those 30-round barrels that we saw earlier, or not barrels, drums. And the idea is that this thing is motorized. You can have darts fed in through the back of it, through that orange hopper, one at a time. And it'll also give you a light on there to indicate if it's safe to put a dart in, when that dart is actually loaded, and it'll load it into the clip underneath here. That is amazing. And there's also a rev trigger, so it does standard flywheel stuff. This thing is a hunker. This is so, like... I feel like I'm playing Doom when trying to hold this thing, because it's a big effing gun. Not really going to say what the F stands for. I feel like I'm playing Doom with this thing because it's a big hunking gun. Not going to say what the actual one is, but you know what I mean. So, this is pretty good, getting one of these, but we have two of those, which is $80, even though we don't have the second drum to go with it. Still, the bass blaster, around $80. You had the two desolators, which were $30 a piece, so that's $60, and those did have the magazines with them. That by itself, here, if I throw this in here, and I throw this in here, and I show this to you at a retail store, that's $100 right there. Actually, even more than that. So let me break this down for you guys of why this was a really good Nerf lot haul, assuming that everything works. The Infamous, one of these alone, with a 30-round drum and the associated darts, is $40 retail. One of the Doomland's desolators, with the darts and clips to go with it, is $30 retail. So we're looking at, right in this bin alone, $140 worth of Nerf gear. While it doesn't have all the darts in here, there are no darts included, I still have plenty of those of my own. I paid $30 for the entire lot. Not just these blasters, but all the other ones you saw earlier in this video. I pack all this stuff back in, and I look on Facebook Marketplace, and I see some place near me has a whole bunch of these. $30 flat for everything. That was incredible. I had to ask them if it was the individual blasters or if it was the entire thing. They said the entire thing, and I was like, I'm packing and going. Because that is a really good deal. Assuming that most of these work, I will be happy to play around with them, and you will probably see some reviews soon about some of these. Again, the Codebreaker is one I definitely want to get a review up sooner than the rest. I really want to test out, especially for the flywheel ones, how they're going to work mechanically, because, you know, it might be more temperamental with motorized stuff. And, yeah, I also want to try out some of the other stuff here, maybe do some comparisons with them. Like I said before, this is basically like a strong arm or a Maverick, so it might be nice to compare with those kinds of blasters. And I'm sure there's plenty others out there that I don't have that would work in the same way. We have another Retaliator. Let's see if it does better than some of the other Retaliators I already have. And a few blasters in here that are duplicates, so maybe there's one copy better than the other. Hopefully they both work well, so I could use them both fairly. Yeah, a lot of really good stuff for $30 for Nerf. This is incredible. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time with more Nerf videos, because you know there's plenty of material for that, as I already have collected, and more that we're now adding into the batch.